Hello everyone. Today we are going to start with the next content from the same topic, that is the reproduction in lower and higher plants. In today's lecture we are going to study the megasporogenesis, how the megaspore development takes place, and what is the structure of ovule. In this topic we are going to study in details, that is the structure of Anatropous ovule and the development of female gametophyte. So let us start with our today's lecture with the gynoecium. As we know that gynoecium, it is the female reproductive whorl in flowers, and the member of gynoecium, it is called as the carpel, or it is also called as the pistil. It is also called as the pistil or carpel. And this female reproductive structure, that is the gynoecium, it consists of three parts, namely stigma is there, style, and most important feature here, that is the ovary. So these are the three parts in the gynoecium, that is the stigma, style, and ovary. The ovary, inside the ovary there is a presence of number of ovules. As we know that in previous class at our 11th standard, in the structure of a flower, we know the development of ovules after the successful fertilization. Ovary, it gives rise to the fruit ball, and ovules inside the ovary, it becomes modified into the seeds. So we know all these parts in our previous class. In today's lecture about this female reproductive structure, that is the gynoecium, we are going to study in details the ovule, one of the type of ovule in angiospermic plant. Before that, there are some conditions like the apocarpus carpel, syncarpus carpel. What is apocarpus? In apocarpus, here the carpels are free from one another. एकामेकापासून कसे असतात, वेगळे असतात, फ्री असतात. फॉर एक्झाम्पल इन मायकेलिया, the type of carpel is apocarpus. Then second condition, that is the syncarpus, where the carpels are fused together. Carpels इथे कसे आहेत, फ्यूज झालेले आहेत. फॉर एक्झाम्पल इन केस ऑफ ब्रिंजल. So these are the two conditions in carpel. When the carpels are free, it is apocarpus. When the carpels are fused, it is called as the syncarpus. Then come towards the conditions where the number of ovules, it determines the ovary. Uni-ovulate ovary, multi-ovulate ovary. The term uni means single, the term multi means many. So here inside the ovary, the number of ovule, it is a single, it is uni-ovulate. For example, in case of paddy, wheat, and mango, there is a single ovule is present. Then come towards the multi-ovulate condition. Multi means many. Here there are many number of ovules, they are present inside the ovary. For example, in case of tomato, in case of lady's finger, they shows number of ovules. आता या ठिकाणी आपल्याला आणखी क्लिअर करता येईल. पहा, सगळ्यांच्या आवडीचं फळ म्हणजे मँगो आहे, आणि या मँगो मध्ये एकच सीड असतो, म्हणजे हा सिंगल आहे, म्हणजे हा युनी, or it is called as the uni-ovulate. Here the ovule which becomes modified into the seed, here it is a single in a number. In case of paddy, again the single. In case of wheat, again there is a single seed. So there is a uni-ovulate condition. Let us come towards the tomato, where is multiple many seeded plant. Lady's finger, many seeded. So in case of tomato and lady's finger, number of seeds are there. Therefore, it is called as the multi-ovulate ovary, which shows the number of many ovules. Then the major part in our discussion is the structure of anatropous ovule. The anatropous ovule here in most of the angiospermic plant, anatropous ovule type is most common type of ovule. Anatropous ovule. It is the most common type of ovule. Then what is the definition of ovule? So to understand the definition of ovule, let us come towards the diagram of this anatropous ovule. आता या ठिकाणी anatropous ovule वरती आपल्याला क्वेश्चन काय विचारला जाऊ शकतो, इथे 2 किंवा 3 मार्क्ससाठी फॉर 2 और 3 मार्क्स स्केच अँड लेबल साठी आपल्याला इथे डायग्राम विचारले होते. स्केच अँड लेबल दी anatropous ovule किंवा या ठिकाणी आपल्याला लॉंग आन्सर क्वेश्चन देखील 4 मार्क्स साठी विचारला जाऊ शकतो. डिस्क्राइब इन डिटेल्स द स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ anatropous ovule. So it is the anatropous ovule and these are the various parts present on these anatropous ovule. So first of all, come across with the definition of anatropous ovule. What is anatropous ovule? ही डेफिनेशन नीट समजून घ्या. या ठिकाणी पार्टचं ओरिएंटेशन आहे हे अतिशय महत्वाचं आहे. What is anatropous ovule? An ovule with the bent axis. आता इथे आपल्याला हा एक्सिस दिसतो, हा बेंट झालेला आहे. बेंट एक्सिस विथ डाउनवर्डली डिरेक्टेड ओपनिंग, डाउनवर्डली खालच्या बाजूला, आणि हे जे ओपनिंग आहे that downwardly directed opening, it is called as the micropyle. हा अतिशय महत्वाचा भाग आहे या डेफिनेशन मध्ये. The ovule with this bent axis and downwardly directed opening, it is called as the micropyle, and this type of ovule is called as the anatropous ovule. अशा प्रकारच्या ओव्ह्यूलला काय म्हटलं जातं की जिथे बेंट ऍक्सिस आहे आणि डाउनवर्डली डिरेक्टेड ओपनिंग, ज्याला मायक्रोपाईल बोलतो, त्याला बोलतात anatropous ovule. And this anatropous ovule, it is the most common type of ovule in case of angiospermic plant. Then come towards the vertical section or the structural peculiarities of this anatropous ovule. This anatropous ovule, it is broadly having two main parts. इथे 2 मेन पार्ट्स आहेत. आता यामध्ये 2 मेन पार्ट्स कोणते आहेत? तर एक असतो तो स्टॉक आहे. पहिला जो आहे तो स्टॉक आहे आणि दुसरा जो हा इथे ओव्हल एरिया दिसतो, हा जो ओव्हल एरिया दिसतो की ज्या स्टॉक वरती जो प्रेझेंट आहे त्याला बोललं जातं बॉडी. सो स्टॉक and body, there are 2 major parts in the anatropous ovule. Then let us come towards the first part of this anatropous ovule, that is the stalk. Here the stalk of the ovule, it is called as the funicle or funiculus. क्या है तो स्ट्रक्चर? स्टॉक ला काय बोलतात? It is called as the funicle or funiculus. Then what is the importance of this funicle or funiculus? The funicle, it acts as a supportive, it gives the projection and it helps in the conduction of the materials. आता कुठून कुठे कंडक्शन करतो हे आपल्याला पुढच्या पार्ट मध्ये क्लिअर करता येईल. So the stalk of the ovule, it is called as the funicle, and that funicle, it attaches with the fertile tissue on the wall of the ovary. It is called as the placenta. त्याला काय बोलतात? Placenta, on which funicle attaches with this body of the ovule. ह्या बॉडी बरोबर काय करतो हा फ्युनिकल? ह्या फर्टाईल टिश्यू बरोबर अटॅच करण्याचं काम करत असतो. सो इट इज द mediator in between the fertile tissue of the ovary, that is the placenta, and the body of the ovule. it is called as the funicle or funiculus. Then come towards the major portion in the Anatropous ovule, that is the body of the ovule. This whole portion, which is swollen in structure, it is called as the body. So that funicle bears the swollen structure at its tip, it is called as the body. या फिनिकलच्या वर टिपला जो सोलन स्ट्रक्चर आहे त्याला काय बोललं जातं, बॉडी बोललं जातं. आणि हा पर्टिक्युलर फिनिकल आणखी हा जो काही बॉडीचा भाग दिसतो, सोलन स्ट्रक्चरचा भाग दिसतो, या दोघांमध्ये जो काही पॉइंट ऑफ अटॅचमेंट आहे, द स्टॉक or funicle of ovule, it is attached with the body by the point of attachment or the point, it is called as the hilum. या ठिकाणी फिनिकल आणखी बॉडी मध्ये जो काही पॉइंट ऑफ अटॅचमेंट आहे त्याला काय बोललं जातं, हायलम. देन the body, it is divided into various parts. In that, number one and the most important part, that is the nucellus. What is the nucellus? What are the structural peculiarities in a nucellus? This nucellus, it is the main central bulk of the ovule. It is the main central bulk of the ovule, and the nucellus consists of diploid parenchymatous cells. हा अतिशय महत्वाचा भाग आहे. हा डिप्लॉइड पॅरेन्कायमॅटस सेल्स पासून बनलेला असतो. And what is the importance of nucellus? Inside the nucellus, the process of megasporogenesis takes place. Megasporogenesis, megaspore development takes place inside the nucellus. Again, the structure that we are seeing at the center, it is called as the female gametophyte or embryo sac. It develops again inside the nucellus. So nucellus, it is the first feature of the body. Then come towards the next part in the body, that is the chalaza. The chalaza, it is the basal part of the nucellus. Chalaza क्या है? The basal part of the nucellus from which the integument arises. आता इथे आपण पाहू शकतो पहा, हा एक आहे, हा एक आहे, तसाच या बाजूला हा एक आहे, हा एक आहे. The integuments, these are the two integuments, it arises from the chalaza, and the end, it is called as the chalazal end. त्याला काय बोललं जातं, chalazal end. आता या ठिकाणी एक महत्वाचा भाग आहे, that chalazal end which gives rise to these integuments, it leaves some space, and that space which is having the opening like structure, it is called as the microbial. हा भाग आपल्याला पुढे याच्या पाहायचा आहे. आता सध्या आपल्याला काय माहिती असू देत, चलाजा दोन इंटेग्युमेंट तयार करतो, आणि हे जे दोन इंटेग्युमेंट आहेत हे पर्टिक्युलर न्यूसेलसच्या वरती किंवा ह्या फिमेल गॅमेटोफाइट एम्ब्रियो सॅकच्या वर काय असतात, कवर्ड असतात. देन कम टुवर्ड्स द नेक्स्ट पार्ट, that is the integuments. Here there is outer integument, here there is inner integument. There are two integuments, therefore it is called as the bitegmic. Bi means two, bitegmic integuments, and the presence of this bitegmic, that is the two integuments, it is the general type of integuments in the angiospermic plants, that is the outer and inner integuments. What is integuments? These integuments are the protective coverings of the nucellus. या nucellus वरती असणारे हे काय आहेत, protective coverings आहेत, and we know that it develops from the chalazal end. आणि हे कुठून तयार होतात, chalazal end पासून तयार होतात. Then what is the importance of integument? The integuments, it gives protection to the embryo sac. embryo sac ला प्रोटेक्शन देण्याचं काम हे इंटेगमेंट करत असतात. अगेन दॅट इंटेगमेंट्स आफ्टर द प्रोसेस ऑफ फर्टिलायझेशन दे कन्व्हर्ट्स इनटू द सीड कोट. हा अतिशय महत्वाचा भाग आहे. सीडच्या वरती जे कोटिंग्स आहेत, आउटर कोटिंग आहे, इनर कोटिंग आहे, इट डेव्हलप्स फ्रॉम द integuments. That outer integument, it gives rise to the testa. That inner integument, it gives rise to the tegmen. We know that the testa, it is the outer covering of the seed, which is thick in nature, which is resistant. Then inner integument, which gives rise to the tegmen. It is inner wall layer of the seed coat, which is thin in nature and transparent in nature. So these are the integuments which further gives rise to the seed coats, namely testa and tegmen. Then come towards the most important part in the body, that is the micropyle. Here there is a narrow opening which provides the entry for pollen tube during the fertilization, and that integuments, outer and inner integument, it leaves some space at the terminal end of the nucellus. It is called as the micropyle, and the end, like to that of chalaza, that micropyle, that end, it is called as the micropylar end. Then what is the function of this micropyle? It gives passage for the entry of pollen tube during fertilization. Then again, at the time of seed germination, it allows the entry of water. And after the successful seed germination, we know that there is development of embryonal axis, named as the radicle and plumule. So the radicle, it gives out through this micropylar end. So it is the important features of the micropyle. Then come towards the major portion in the body, that is the embryo sac or the female gametophyte, which is present at the center of this anatropous ovule. The type of embryo sac or the female gametophyte, it is 7-celled and 8-nucleated, which is called as the polygonum type of embryo sac. What is the 7-celled structure? आता या ठिकाणी हा जो वरचा एरिया आहे त्याला बोलतात अँटीपोडल. Here there is 3 antipodals are there, 1, 2, 3. Then at its opposite side towards the micropylar end, there is presence of again 1, 2, 3. It is called as the egg apparatus. At the center, it shows the egg, and these are the two lateral cells called as the synergids. So 3 plus 3, 6, and at the center 1. So these are the 7-celled structure and 8 nucleated structure. Here 3, here 3, 3 plus 3, 6, and at the center, the secondary nucleus, it is diploid in structure, that we are going to study in detail in Megasporogenesis. So 3 plus 3 and 2, it is called as the 8. So it is the 8 nucleated structure. So this embryo sac or the female gametophyte, it is the haploid structure which is present at the micropylar end, and structurally it consists of 3-celled egg apparatus at the micropylar end. At the center there is presence of egg cell, here it is egg cell, and these are the two lateral synergids which bears the filiform apparatus. या ठिकाणी synergids ना काय असतात, filiform apparatus असतात. So these are the egg cell or the egg apparatus with synergid. Then towards the chalazal end, there is presence of 3 antipodals, and at the center there is presence of 2 haploid polar nuclei. Therefore, the female gametophyte or embryo sac, it is called as the monosporic, it is called as the endosporic, and 7-celled 8-nucleated structure, and the type of embryo sac, it is called as the polygonum type. Then come towards the functions of the egg apparatus. Here the egg apparatus is there. At the center there is presence of egg, and these are the two lateral synergids. What is the importance of egg? Egg, it is haploid in nature. Egg, it is haploid in nature. When the male gamete out of two male gametes, when one male gamete fuses with this egg, that male gamete is haploid, again egg is haploid, then that egg with first male gamete, it gives rise to the diploid zygote, which further leads to the development of embryo. Then the synergids are there. These synergids, they are in a supportive role, and after the process of fertilization, these synergids degenerates. But these synergids, they are having the filiform apparatus, and that filiform apparatus, it attracts the pollen tube during the fertilization process, which comes from the micropylar end. Then come towards the polar nuclei, which is at the center. There is presence of two polar nuclei which are haploid in nature, and the second male gamete, it fuses with this diploid secondary nucleus. So 2n plus n, it gives rise to the triploid primary endosperm nucleus, which further gives rise to the endosperm, and that endosperm, it provides the nourishment to the developing embryo. Then come towards the antipodals. At the chalazal end, there is presence of three antipodal cells. They are the accessory cells, and they degenerates after the process of fertilization. So it is the structure of anatropous ovule. Broadly, it is having two parts, that is the stalk and the solan end, it is called as the body. हे झालं anatropous ओव्ह्यूलच्या स्ट्रक्चर बद्दल. याच्यावरती आपल्याला लॉंग आन्सर क्वेश्चन विचारला जाऊ शकतो 4 मार्क साठी, किंवा या ठिकाणी ही जी डायग्राम आहे यामध्ये असणारे जे पार्ट्स आहेत, हे पार्ट्स आपल्याला त्या ठिकाणी प्रत्येकाचा रोल जो आहे तो त्या ठिकाणी विचारला जाऊ शकतो, त्याचं स्ट्रक्चर जे आहे ते विचारला जाऊ शकतो. देन कम टुवर्ड्स द मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टंट पार्ट इन दिस टॉपिक, that is the development of female gametophyte. Before that, come towards the definition of megasporogenesis. Like to that of microsporogenesis, genesis, it is the formation, but here in megasporogenesis, here the formation of megaspores. It is the process of formation of haploid megaspores, that is the ovules, from diploid megaspore mother cell. It is called as the megasporogenesis. megasporogenesis म्हणजे काय, तर या ठिकाणी मेगास्पोर तयार होतो जो की हॅप्लॉइड आहे, त्यालाच आपण ओव्ह्यूल बोलतो. कशापासून, डिप्लॉइड मेगास्पोर मदर सेल पासून बनतो. सो what are the stages in the development of megasporogenesis that we are going to study in this lesson? Let us come towards this diagram. Here there is a diploid megaspore mother cell. At the center, it is having nucleus, and around this nucleus there is presence of cytoplasm. So the diploid hypodermal cell at the micropylar end of the nucellus, it get differentiated and form the archisporium. It get differentiated into archisporium, and that archisporium directly functions as diploid megaspore mother cell. And this megaspore mother cell, diploid megaspore mother cell, undergoes meiosis and forms the 4 haploid linear tetrad of megaspore. Tetrad 1, 2, 3, 4. So tetrad, that is the linear tetrad of haploid megaspores, it forms as a result of meiosis of diploid megaspore mother cell. आता या ठिकाणी आपल्याला हे जे काही 4 हॅप्लॉइड मेगास्पोर दिसतात, 1, 2, 3, 4, यापैकी हा जो वरचा आहे सध्या आपल्याला या डायग्राम मध्ये ज्यावेळेस आपण फोकस करत आहोत त्यावेळेस आपल्याला हा जो वरची जी बाजू दिसते ही जी काही साइड आहे ही साइड आहे मायक्रोपायलर साइड, टुवर्ड दी मायक्रोपाईल, आणि हा सगळ्यात शेवटचा दिसतो हा आहे चलाजल साइडचा. पुढच्या स्टेप मध्ये काय होत असतं, लिनियर टेट्राड तयार झाल्यानंतर वरचे जे 3 आहेत they degenerate and the megaspore which is present towards the chalazal side, चलाजलच्या बाजूला असणारा जो आहे megaspore, it remains functional. In this linear tetrad, the 3 megaspores which are present towards the micropylar side they degenerates. Here the degenerated megaspores are there, 1 2 3, and only one megaspore which is present at the chalazal side, it remains functional, and that functional megaspore, it undergoes successive mitotic divisions. There are 3 mitotic divisions takes place in relation with this functional haploid megaspore which is present towards the chalazal side. Here the result of first mitotic division is there is formation of two nucleated embryo sac. It is first and it is second. Then that two nucleated embryo sac, it undergoes second mitotic division. So it gives rise to the 4 nucleated embryo sac, 1 2 3 4. Then the 4 nucleated embryo sac in undergoes third mitotic division. So it gives rise to the 8 nucleated embryo sac, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So there are total 8 nucleated. आपल्याला या ठिकाणी महत्वाचं हे सेंटेन्स आहे. The type of embryo sac is 7-celled and 8 nucleated. 8 nucleated चा आन्सर आपल्याला इथं भेटतं. म्हणजे या ठिकाणी जो 4 nucleated embryo sac आहे हा थर्ड मायटोटिक डिव्हिजन मध्ये जातो, म्हणून हा 4 चे काय करतो, 8 न्यूक्लिया तयार करतो, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. आता इथं आपल्याला आन्सर मिळतं 8 न्यूक्लिएटेड एम्ब्रियो सॅक. आता ह्या 8 न्यूक्लिएटेड एम्ब्रियो सॅक मध्ये काय होतं, जे पर्टिक्युलर चलाजल साइडला इथे 3 न्यूक्लिया एकत्र येतात, 3 हॅप्लॉइड न्यूक्लिया एकत्र येतात, and it form the 3 antipodal cells at the chalazal side. At the micropyle side, at the micropylar end, या ठिकाणी परत 3 न्यूक्लिया एकत्र येतात. आता या सेंटर मध्ये जो असणार आहे तो असणार आहे एग, याला आपण फिमेल गॅमेट बोलतो, आणि याच्या साइडला जे आहेत ते 2 सिनर्जिड्स आहेत. सो 1 2 3 3 antipodal cells are at chalazal side, 1 2 3 3 egg apparatus with centrally placed egg cell, and these are the 2 lateral synergids are there, and at the center there is 2 polar nuclei. In the next stage, that 2 polar nuclei which are haploid in nature, they comes together, and finally at the center they form the secondary nucleus which is diploid in nature. So here it is 8 nucleated cell structure, here it is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, and it is the 7-celled structure present at the embryo sac or the female gametophyte. The development of female gametophyte or the embryo sac, it is called as the 7-celled 8 nucleated structure. Therefore it is called as the polygonum type of embryo sac. And this embryo sac development or the female gametophyte development, it is takes place inside the ovule. Therefore it is called as the endosporic. And during the development of this female gametophyte, there is use of only one megaspore mother cell. Therefore it is called as the monosporic development of embryo sac or the female gametophyte. Therefore the development of female gametophyte is called as 7-celled and 8 nucleated embryo sac. Again it is called as the endosporic, as It takes place inside the ovule, and it is called as the monosporic, as there is involvement of only one megaspore mother cell. So in today's lecture, we studied about the gynoecium, structure of gynoecium, then the most common type of ovule in angiosperm, that is the Anatropous ovule, its structure, its parts, and the important feature of that particular parts or the functions, and the most important part in this lecture, that is the development of a female gametophyte, how the female gametophyte development takes place, that we are completed in today's lecture. In the next lecture, we are going to start with the next point in the same topic, that is the pollination definition, types of pollination, then the agents involved in the various types of the pollination, their floral adaptations and their examples. So in today's lecture, we discussed all the features related with the female reproductive oral, and it is the important for your exam point of view. Thank you.